Hello everyone, Craig McCormack here again from Governance and Assurance Unit, delivering your general induction, this time part 3, work health and safety. We have already spoken in part 1 of our induction about the safety policy and its safety undertakings, but I really want to emphasise here that the Hartecs Group management really is genuinely committed to work health and safety. But the fact of the matter is, this is a two-way street. We can't just do it without you. Workers are intimately involved in work health and safety. It's obviously important that management do what it needs to, and we'll talk about that shortly, to ensure work health and safety conditions are correct. But it's very important that workers understand what those expectations are, follow through with those expectations, and also play the game. And the other side of the coin is that the workers need to come back and inform management of improvements and issues that they are having. So please stay alert, follow instructions, and if in doubt, ask. Work health and safety really is dependent on everyone being involved. We've also mentioned legislation previously, but from a workplace health and safety point of view, the Act is really the driving force. The Work Health and Safety Act and regulations are the driving force. So much is contained in those, and we can't even possibly begin to talk about their contents in an induction. Actually, this is the Act itself, huge document. I think there's about 700 pages in that, and there's a few more in the regulation itself. So we're really just scratching the surface here. The important thing to know is that in your workplace, you need to go and get the specific instruction of your management. You'll be inducted into your workplace and given specific instruction. So it's very important that those parts of any legislation or codes of practice, for that matter, or procedures and work instructions are conveyed to you. We can't possibly do that in general induction. Having said that though, I will mention chapters 4 and chapter 6 of the Work Health and Safety Regulations, which is specifically targeted hazardous works and construction works. They're particularly relevant to the people in our workforce that are doing operational work. So once again, go into your portfolios, respective portfolios, and talk about the work health and safety issues that are relevant to your particular work activities. There are a number of duties and requirements set out in the legislation, which I've just really taken a few key items from this. Sorry, I know it's a busy slide, but we need to understand, and I think it's best that we see it all in context. The PCBU, who is effectively, that's Hartecs, the PCBU, the person conducting a business undertaking, which is a phrase taken straight out of the regulations. They have a duty to protect persons from health and safety risks, including but not limited to providing you with a safe work environment and facilities, providing safe plant and structures, providing safe systems of work, and providing you the information and training and instruction that is required to do your work safely. The PCBU is also responsible for providing or ensuring that you've been provided with the correct PPE where that is being used. The PCBU must also consult workers on matters of work health and safety and the decisions of work health and safety that will affect workers' safety. We also, the PCBU is responsible for reporting notifiable incidents. Now they're serious and dangerous incidents. We're not going to get into the definition of those. I will be here for another half an hour. But basically, when you are reporting incidents, no doubt you will notice the serious and extremely dangerous ones. They are what we would, be concerned. They're possibly notifiable, so you need to be conscious of those particular incidents. Officers in Hartecs business itself, so people who hold management positions and have an influence over the decision making of the organisation, they must exercise due diligence to make sure that the PCBU actually complies with the duties under the legislation. From a worker point of view, which includes all of us, we need to take reasonable care that any of our acts or omissions do not adversely affect our own personal health or safety or the health and safety of others. We also must comply with any reasonably given instructions from the PCBU. Okay, so when the PCBU is giving us training or instructions or providing us procedures and so forth, we need to look at those and we have a duty to actually follow that instruction, assuming that that is going to be a reasonable instruction. You do actually have a right to challenge the instruction if it's not reasonable for you to do so. You need to cooperate with any policies and procedures that are issued by the PCBU in relation to health and safety. You're also required to wear PPE in accordance with the information, the training and the instruction that is provided to you. You also are required to take care of that PPE. And also, you are meant to preserve the scene of any of those dangerous events or notifiable incidents that I was referring to previously. If something like that does happen, workers are obliged under the legislation again to preserve the scene of that activity. Now this is also a very general view, trying to demonstrate that we have a different risk profile, and to be honest, if I was to say anything about the risk profile in Hartecs, it's a fairly moderate workplace. We're not doing a lot of seriously dangerous activities, so our risk profile is relatively moderate. In an office environment, it's extremely low. So down at the lower end of our risk profile, there might be ergonomic things or manual handling situations in an office environment where you might take a bit of a trip on the stairs or something like that. But our risk profile starts to increase as we start to do site visits and field work, when we're out in the environment in more difficult situations or out in the elements. General construction work too, we're in more hazardous environments. And once we get remote, we start to think about working in isolated environments, and the driving and the fatigue issues start to kick in. And of course, on a construction site, there is also high-risk construction work activities, working around powered mobile plant or electrical installations, or working near traffic is a classic in our workplace. So as you can see, there's a bit of a profile about the types of works we do. Long distance travel and fatigue, probably I'd put that up the top, because particularly when that fatigue kicks in and we just don't have control of all the circumstances there. So we have control measures in place and journey management systems that we need to adopt when undertaking those types of travels. Just a snapshot of different types of risks there that do occur throughout our business, but just to demonstrate to you that there is a bit of a profile happening there, and you need to be alert to what hazards and risks apply in your workplace, and then obviously understand what control measures apply to those situations. Look, that, as I say, is really a quick snapshot of work health and safety generally. Obviously, I'm happy to take questions in the governance and assurance portfolio, or direct obviously your questions to your management if you need to. It really is important that all workers get that job specific workplace health and safety instruction. Definitely, please don't be afraid to speak up, because this is a two-way street, and we need to make sure that obviously from a management point of view that Hartecs provide the situations and the health and safety management conditions that you require. But as I say, two-way street. You need to tell us, and we need to consult with you and share the work health and safety journey. That's the end of part 3, work health and safety induction. One more session to go, part 4, environmental management, which isn't very long. Our environmental risks are relatively low, so we won't speak too long on that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in part 4.